What we do here is a special procedure based on quantum physics. As quantum physics is mainly investigated with light and so on in Europe, of how light affects our biological systems. And laser energetic detox, since it's working on quantum physics basis, will remove a toxin from the body in 24.5 hours, we say 25 hours, when normally it would take 50 to 100 days of oral or IV detox if you got the detox agent specific. So this is a very miraculous way to remove toxin after toxin in 24.5 hours, and the results of that are that we're cleaning the terrain, we're getting the internal environment clean, so that when we go after the organisms that are causing the symptoms of different diseases, they don't have a good toxic terrain to live in. These organisms love a toxic terrain. They would much rather live in a swamp than a swimming pool. And they can't survive well with a clean terrain. So this gives us a way, say a person has 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 toxins, in 24.5 hours apart to clear each toxin and then make the rest of the treatment go quickly. So laser energetic detox, in order for it to work, we have the toxin. And then we pick flowers. We have over 90 flowers that we pick that resonate with the emotional complex binding the toxin. And then we have vials of all the various body parts. Everything has an emotional complex to it. So when we select the flowers that resonate with the emotional complex of the person, then we have those flowers, and we're able to laser those flowers in. By using a laser beam, the laser beam is traveling through the flowers, piggybacking the energy of the flowers on the biophoton beam of the laser into the body. There's a layer of light that surrounds the body. There's several layers of bodies. We're aware of our physical body because we see each other and we touch each other, and we're used to that our whole life. But the biophysics people have located other bodies of energy that surround all of our bodies that really don't show up with our eyes. There's certain cameras that show that. And the layer of light that is completely surrounding the body on the next level out, that communicates with every cell in our body over 100,000 times a minute. This is based on the work of Fritz Albert Popp, the biophysicist from Germany, who has 40 or 50 years experience in this. This procedure is based on his work. And the reason we know his work is accurate is because this works every single time. So the biophotons of the laser beam, piggybacking that energy into that layer of light around the body, the layer of light around the body communicates with the cells to either release the emotional complex. Then after we do that, then we put the toxin in, and the toxin is transmitted into the body by that layer of light, stimulating the cells that contain that toxin to release it. And it takes 24.5 hours to do so, because we have 12 acupuncture meridians in us. That's been known for thousands and thousands of years. Each meridian is active for 2 hours every day. It's actually a little over 2 hours every day. And it's active because our vital life force, our life energy, is traveling through that meridian for a little over 2 hours. And it happens to us every day that we're alive. And it happens, and there's 12 acupuncture meridians, so it takes about 24.5 hours for it to get back to where it started. And so you'll detox that meridian as it travels through it. And so that's how it goes. And then after we do the toxin, then we laser in the various body parts, the energy of the various body parts, and neurotransmitters, because any place in the body where the toxin is will be having an autoimmune reaction to the toxin with that part of the body. So the immune system will be attacking that part of the body. because it's foreign with that toxin, and that releases that from happening. So the whole laser energetic detox appointment lasts about 45 minutes to an hour. And once we're finished, then 24 and a half hours, 25 hours later, we test the person and we can't find a trace of the toxin. Okay, here's how it works. This is a photon pulsar. There's different wavelengths of laser that come out of this. The visible beams go in about 2 millimeters. The invisible beams go in 3 to 4 inches. We do this over all the deep areas, and we do this first. We put the toxin in here, and so the biophotons of the laser beam are piggybacking the energy of the toxin into the body. We do this over all the deep areas, like I said, and then we do the other part, which I'll explain when I get there. Okay, so what we're doing right now is I'm going over part of the sinus. We have this point, and we do it about between 5 and 10 seconds. And then this point. And then what we do is we sweep the sinus. The hair doesn't matter if it's in the way, because this is going right through. And then what we do is we do the top of the lymphatic chain, excuse me, and then we go over the thyroid. Then we do some of the ganglia that control parts of the head. Ganglia are like, if the brain is a central government, the ganglia are like states. They control areas. So we do this ganglia. This is a sphenopalatine ganglion. And then we do this one, which is the otic ganglion. And then we do the submandibular ganglion. So that way we've done these areas. Now next we're going to do some body areas. Then we're going to do the 2 ganglia that control the liver. The liver is a big one, so we want to hit these ganglia real good. Some people that do laser energetic detox don't do this part, but the man that put all this together from Dr. Pop does it this way, and it works good, so I keep doing it this way. The next part will take into consideration more the layer of light around the body, which I'll show you in just a few minutes. Now I'm doing the celiac plexus, which controls everything in the digestive tract and everything in that cavity. Then we do the inferior hypogastric ganglion, which is, it controls the pelvic floor. We do that on both sides. And we do the bladder. Now what we do, I change the hertz a little bit to a different frequency, and we do the brainstem. And then we do the brain. And it's just very good insurance to do this, to make sure we get these areas stimulated. So we just sweep the brain. This is at 61 hertz, which is pretty fast hertz, so that the beams are moving with a little higher energy, because they're just going through the skull. Okay. So the toxin that we're working on today, right at this time, is nickel and cadmium. And so this is piggybacking the energy of nickel and cadmium, and we found that out through the testing that this needed to be done. So this piggybacks that into the cells, and then the cells that contain it start releasing it. That concludes this part of the laser detox. Now the next part of the laser detox, it's been found out for years and years that there's an organ representation of the entire body on the bottom of the feet, the palms of the hands and the ears. If you go to an acupuncturist for treatment, many times to treat the stomach or the liver, they'll find a part on the ear that goes to it, and they do the acupuncture treatment on the ear. You've heard of reflexology, working on the feet for digestive problems, and they know where the stomach is and the low colon and so on. And they've also outlined it on the palms of the hands. So the first part of our treatment now, we're going to be lasering in using this laser. We're going to laser in each flower on the bottom of the feet, the palms of the hands, and the ears. Now when we have this laser beam go through, see, now that line is carrying the energy of the flower on the biophoton. Now she's going to put her palms of her hands up in her lap. We have her shoes off. We have the bottom of the feet there. And then put your hair behind your ears so we can get your ears really good. Okay, so now I'm going to take this. This has one flower, and we're lasering with about 7 sweeps. The bottom of the feet, palms of the hands, and the ears with around 7 sweeps of the laser. Okay, that's that flower. Now we go to the next flower. Some people have 2 or 3 flowers. This lady right here has 6. We're going to get through each flower here. Now we're going to do this. This is the toxin. We're going to do this over the whole body. But we're not really doing it on the body. Remember, we're doing the layer of light that surrounds the body. When I first learned this, I learned to do the body, but then with further research I realized that this was based on the layer of light surrounding the body. Okay, now you can stand up right over there. We're doing this over the layer of light around the body. And this is transmitting it into every cell in her body. And every cell in her body that contains this is going to be releasing it. She'll have to avoid being in contact with nickel and cadmium, which is what we're doing today, for the next 25 hours. Okay, you can turn around. Okay. And she'll have to avoid being on a cell phone and computer for 25 hours, which is really so hard for us nowadays. That you can hit your speakerphone on your cell phone if you need to, but you just stay away from being in front of the computer. You could be in the same room with one, but don't be in front of it. So in conclusion, we've just completed the laser energetic detox. It's a non-invasive, non-painful way, based on quantum physics, like I said about 3 times, way to eliminate a toxin in 24.5 hours, get it out of the body and out of the terrain. We do this with mercury, lead, nickel. We do it with herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, plastics, toxic solvents, other toxins that we find in the terrain, to get the terrain clean so that we have a very good terrain that we're working with, one that the organisms that we're after with herbal nutraceuticals and peptides, they'll get wiped out easy because they have very little resistance to keep hanging in there.